Hello everyone, this is your host Christian once again, and we are going to continue on this journey to transform my school into an awesome RPG educational adventure. So today I want to talk about the second AI tool that I'm using right now, which is Leonardo.ai for image generation. So on the last video, I discussed how I was using ChatGPT to give me ideas for the curriculum design and all these types of pedagogical, educational aspects. So what am I doing in terms of image generation? Why am I creating images? As I have explained so far, this is supposed to be like a game. It's supposed to be a class, an educational experience of some sort that feels as much as possible as an RPG game. In these types of games, let's say something like, I don't know, Legend of Zelda or Final Fantasy, Pokemon, whatever. Think of any of those games. It doesn't have to be pixel art, but think of any of those fantasy, medieval type of games. And your character is like completing a mission, it kills a boss or whatever, and then you open a chest, and in this chest you find some objects. So you find a sword, like a book or something like that, and it gives you like it just feels good, you know. It gives you accomplishment. It makes you feel like, oh, it's not only that I completed this mission, but also I'm getting something that now belongs to me and that I can see, and that I can see some descriptions. Maybe I can see that we're talking about a rare object, something like that. So in this spirit of making this class, this educational experience feel as much as a game, we're going to add game assets. So these types of things that you find in chests, or that you kill a boss and the boss drops this item that now belongs to you. I actually have a list of different types of items, but I'm going to touch on that on a different video. But for now, I just want to get this idea of the object that you collect and that makes you feel accomplished in the game, and that gives you like a visual representation of success, right? That is what these objects, or in gamification terminology, you would call it like a badge type of thing. It's like a visual representation of progress, of success. So I just want to show you how I'm creating these things, right? First of all, I come to ChatGPT, of course, our good friend, and I ask him something like this, for example. This is the type of prompt that I'm giving it right now, but because it already has some context. So basically, ChatGPT already knows what I'm creating, like throughout this whole conversation, since I have already explained to ChatGPT what I'm doing, what is my purpose. I've said that I'm an educational entrepreneur. That is what I showed in another video before, that I'm an educational entrepreneur, that I'm creating this experience and that. At some point, I explained to it that I want to create visual game assets for my game. There you go. Remember the context we have discussed before about the type of academy that I'm making. Now I want you to help me with ideas for visual game assets that my students can get as rewards for completing missions within the classes. Remember that the theme of my academy is futuristic, so these objects that you will give me ideas for should follow this space travel theme. These objects should be random but interesting objects that one could find in another planet. They should resemble some objects here on Earth, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna read it all, but you get the gist, right? So I'm explaining what do I want, right? So I asked it to give me 10 examples of such alien objects for game assets with their respective names and descriptions. Now what happened here? For example, it said, an intricate lens crafted by the Quasarian civilization. It possesses the ability to enhance vision and grant the wearer extraordinary clarity and perception. these are the kind of descriptions that I'm not looking for. Something that is abstract and not visual, right? Because at some point, okay, like for example here, it enhances the user's memory and cognitive abilities. There's no way of visually representing that. And maybe Leonardo.ai is going to somehow try to do it, but I don't want to tell this image generating AI, I don't want it to know, quote unquote, what are the special effects in terms of what my students are allegedly going to be able to do after wearing the item. I don't want it to know that because it cannot visually represent it, right? I said this, I changed it. So this conversation with ChatGPT, which you can do if you're creating a similar experience to this, you're gonna have to change to evolve with the chat. When you give it a prompt and maybe you don't like something, and then you just continue. You say, okay, I didn't like this, now change it. Give me that. Don't include this. Don't include quotation marks. Don't include this type of abstract description. So this is what I said. Give me another 10 examples, but now make the description solely visual. Don't mention any powers that the objects give, but only describe them as detailed. This is very important. As detailed as possible in terms of visual cues, so that I can prompt them into an image generating AI. You should use very detailed visual language that resembles alien-like things, so use descriptions of colors and shapes, blah blah blah. So I will show you some of the ones I have really liked. For example, this, the book. I said, give me examples, vivid descriptions of the following items. So I tell ChatGPT a list of items, so a cloak, a kettle, a book, a lamp, a flower, and I ask it to create a prompt filled with visual cues that resemble something that is futuristic, that ChatGPT already knows that is what I'm looking for, and like it knows that I want to put this into a image generating AI. So this is where I have found ChatGPT to be the most helpful to me. And the thing is that even though I speak English, I do not have that much knowledge of very poetic and visual terminology, right? For example, iridescent. That is a very similar word in Spanish. Iridescente, I believe it would be. I wouldn't think of that. I wouldn't know that you can say that in English. I don't know. Fabric. I know the meaning of most of these words. I know the meaning of fabric, but I don't have it like when I'm thinking of something like a cloak. If I'm trying to make a description, a visual description of a cloak, I'm not gonna think of the word fabric. Even though I know what it means, it's far deep into my vocabulary box. So this is where it's becoming really useful. I just say, make a flower that's like an extraterrestrial, futuristic, and very visual. And then it says something like this. The Elysian blossom, a rare extraterrestrial flower, unfurls, I don't know what that means, but I don't even look for it, unfurls its vibrant petals in an iridescent display. Each delicate blossom contains a miniature galaxy within, emanating a gentle celestial glow that casts surreal shadows. Its fragrance transcends earthly sense, evoking memories of far-off star systems and cosmic gardens of untold beauty. Never in a million years would I think of such a good description for a futuristic flower. That's what I mean. I get the AI to create all of these descriptions, and then I just prompt them into Leonardo.ai. Like, this is the flower, for example. Beautiful, right? Insanely beautiful. And I only added some words at the end. I only added futuristic, alien, extraterrestrial, hyper detailed, game asset, and dark background. I add these words specifically to every single prompt, right? But there is something else that I could do that I haven't done because I'm lazy. I could take these words, these ones that I'm always putting at the end, and I could tell ChatGPT, I could say, give me the same descriptions you have been giving me so far, and at the end of each description, add these words, right? Because it would do it. It would completely do it. It's not difficult for it. I'm lazy. But the idea is to create the most perfect and detailed prompts that you can, so that this process becomes much easier. I'm still in that process, and throughout this whole series, I will show you how this prompting process evolves for me. But for now, this is what I'm doing. I also add a negative prompt, which is basically those things that I don't want to appear in the image. So people, words, children, logos, white background, whatever. These are the things I have created so far. So this is an effigy of like a hero type of personality of aliens of an alien civilization. This is like a religious symbol type of thing. So this would be like the cross or the crescent of an alien civilization, something like that. This is like a ring, although it was supposed to be a pair of glasses, but it can be a ring. I don't care. It's just what I'm doing here is creating things that look visually outstanding, and then I would simply create like descriptions of it that fit my purpose in the story. So for example, let's say this effigy, right? So I would say something like, I would give it a name. I don't know, the statue of the hero Gorblox, whatever. And then I would explain a little bit, like, this is a hero in the civilization of Gorbloxians that fought, like, something like, what is a hero in, something like, let's say like the Buddha, right? This character is supposed to be like the Buddha or the Jesus or something like that of a made-up ancient alien civilization. And I would make like a short description of it. This is a figurine that's like a religious statue, so people in this civilization, they pray to it. And I would maybe explain a little bit of the history of this character. Why is he so important? All of those things. I would make it like a text, and then I would combine. I haven't done it yet because I'm not yet in that part of the process, but I'm gonna do it soon. I would put like the picture, this picture, and then right next to it, a short description and some maybe important details of the object that the student is supposed to be unlocking. Like if it's very rare, if it gives any boosts or powers or something of effects to the student. So maybe, let's say maybe this is just a decorative item. So you don't get anything but feeling accomplished of having something new that maybe no other student has because it's very rare, right? Or maybe only the best student in the semester gets this item, so it makes you feel accomplished. So that is one option. Or maybe one other option is that whoever has this item in the inventory or something like that gets 50% more points in listening activities, something like that. So I would also put that information next to it, so that in Gather, the platform that we saw before, the student would unlock, discover this item, or the teacher would say, okay, the student did a good job, now we're gonna give him an object, right? What I want to do with all of these visual items is basically make the game feel more like an actual RPG game, like a story, like something that students are actually like continuously unlocking things. And like you actually, like, if you want to unlock these things, which some of them give you power, give you more points, or make the progression of the class in terms of grades, of getting grades or something like that, it makes it easier for you, but you have to unlock them, right? But if you see it, if it is visual, and if it looks so as beautiful as this, it's definitely going to be so much better than if it was just the teacher saying, oh, you unlocked this, right? So that is the purpose of all of these AI generated images, right? Maybe this type of image can be like not an object that the student unlocks, but maybe a creature or a boss, right? Also, another thing that I will use this AI is the creation of the character. So for example, an astronaut, right? So as you remember, the platform gather.town, in it, it's like pixel art, right? So I would create pixel art characters like this, and I would put them in the gather spaces in the rooms so that students can interact with them. And maybe if they interact with this one, they get a message or a video of this person allegedly speaking, right? So that they can practice speaking or reading or something like that. I'm going to create all of these characters and game assets in this program, in this AI called Leonardo, with the help, of course, of ChatGPT. So I think I've said enough. This is basically what I have done so far. And I really hope you're enjoying all of this process. I really hope that what I have shown you motivates you to try to do something similar in your classes or in your school, maybe. Or even if you're a student, you can either propose something like this to the teacher, or you can maybe do it for yourself or for your fellow students, something like that. So that it makes it more interesting. It makes the educational experience much more interesting, right? I will keep going on this journey. I hope you come along with me. On the next video, I'm going to discuss the narrative structure, which we haven't touched on yet. But we're going there. We're slowly discovering new things to transform a school into an RPG adventure. So I'll see you on the next video.